Growing up, I was told in order to save our planet, I must turn off all the lights in my house I wasn't using, to take shorter showers, and to simply just recycle. And Mary placed the blame of all the damages happening to our planet on everyday people just like me. That little girl who left her bedroom light on was causing the ice to melt in the Arctic. While it's important for all of us to do the best we can for our planet, it's time to start holding companies accountable for their actions. Human activity is the main cause of climate change. When these companies burn fossil fuels, it converts land from forest to agriculture. Burning fossil fuels produces carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas. It is called a greenhouse gas because it creates the greenhouse effect, which then causes the polar ice caps in the Arctic to melt, as global warming causes climate change. Over the past 30 years, the oldest and thickest ice in the Arctic has declined 95%. You might think, how does ice melting miles and miles away affect me personally? But it is certain that what happens in the Arctic just does not stay in the Arctic. Less ice means less reflected heat. Less reflected heat means more intense heat waves worldwide. This also means more extreme winter conditions, as the polar jet stream, a high-pressure wind that circles the Arctic region, is destabilizing by warmer air. It can dip down, bringing the cold air with it. Just look about what's happening in Texas and their extreme winter conditions. As the Arctic ice melts, the methane in that ice is being released. Methane is a greenhouse gas that contributes to climate change. Methane being released will simply increase the rate of warming. Sea levels will rise, which will endanger coastal cities and small islands, with coastal floods and extreme storms, worsening and increasing the rate of hurricanes and earthquakes. Increasing heat will affect our crops. With all that's been said, you should care about what's been happening in the Arctic. You might be worried or have falsely been informed that using safer forms of energy will be more expensive or cost lots of jobs, when actually the International Energy Agency concluded that the best solar power schemes offer the cheapest source of electricity in history. Renewables are already cheaper than fossil fuel powers and such of the world when it comes to building new power stations. It is not expensive to use the reusables, but just some companies just don't care and think they'll lose all their money. In 1950, climate scientists first found that digging up coal, gas, and oils is producing heat-trapping gases. It's been 150 years since the conversation and the science has been around. Yes, it's important to know the science behind it, but the science has been around for 150 years. It is now important to talk about that science and to bring awareness to it. It's been only 50 years since the first evidence and data has been shown to a U.S. president. The Yale Program on Climate Change Communication did an opinion polling across the U.S. It found that 70% of people in the U.S. agree that climate change is changing and it will harm plants and animals. Only 40% of people in the U.S. think it will affect us personally. And a shocking 2/3 of people in the U.S. say they never talk about climate change. You don't need to be a scientist to believe or to bring awareness. The science has been around a long time, but the conversation hasn't. It's now time to let politicians around the world and world leaders to know that climate change is real and it is destroying our planet. World leaders must enforce strict policies that stop companies from burning these fossil fuels for the sake of the world, and for countries to keep hold of their part in reducing the heating of the planet. So many species go extinct every day, hundreds of them, just because of climate change. And it's also to help protect all the places in our planet that are so unique and beautiful, all the national parks, all the waterfalls, everything that comes with it. I strongly encourage you to be part of this conversation and help save the world. It doesn't hurt to simply inform your kids, your parents, or relatives, or even your friends that climate change is real and it is happening and it is destroying our planet.